Death will only offer a temporary escape. I can revive you again and again, 1,000 times if need be.
And he doesn't sense the presence of a Goa'uld in me, so...
Moima O'Neill at a Goa'uld.
Could just as well be him.
Very true, Carl.
Hello everyone, it's your Bud. In today's video, we're going to be doing a quick unscripted rant about the Illithid and the Goa'uld, or the Mindflayers and the Goa'uld. So however you want to pronounce Goa'uld, they are beings, they are snake-like beings that burrow into someone's mind and act like a parasite, controlling that host body. And the Illithid have a very similar form of reproduction, so they all have these little worm things that burrow into your mind, and the Illithid, or the Mindflayers, will change your body into a new form, where the Goa'uld will just take over your body and use it. So one of the interesting things about the Illithid or the Mindflayers is that according to the wiki here, they are tyrants, slavers, and planar voyagers. So they go beyond the one planet of Dungeons and Dragons. So whichever planet you're playing on, the Illithids are on many, many planets. They have a universe spanning, or they used to have a galaxy-wide or universe spanning network or empire, their Illithid Empire. Now they had this huge giant empire, but then it was taken over by their slaves, or their slaves rebelled against them, and now they're trying to reconquer and regrow their empire. Now the Illithids have one master brain, like a hive mind, that then produces these little worm things that the Illithid then place into a host body, and the worm then transforms that new host body into a new Illithid or mind flayer. So there's this like hive mind, the host mind, the elder brain as it's referred to, and this one thing is what all well, there's one of these per colony of Illithids, so wherever you find an Illithid colony you'll find an elder brain. Now the Goa'uld are slightly different but also similar. Goa'uld are just these serpent-like beings that grew up on this one planet. They evolved on this planet with another being called an Unis. Now Unis are big, strong, slow, dumb animals that regenerate very fast, and the Goa'uld managed to worm their way into the heads of these Unis and take over and leave the planet via the Stargates that the ancients built, and then they had their galaxy-spanning empire. Now the Goa'uld are also slavers, they also take people, and at the moment that Stargate SG1 starts, that's the beginning of the downfall of the Goa'uld empire. So while an Illithid will put a worm into your mind and change the shape and form of your body, a Goa'uld will not. The Goa'uld will just seek a new host. The Goa'uld waste no resources on the host. The host is merely the host for the Goa'uld itself. And the great thing about Goa'ulds is they're so egotistical. So the Illithids have like this sort of hive mind, where mind flayers were hive mind, where the Goa'uld are individuals. So they grew up on that planet. There were these serpents that got into these large strong forms, the Unis, and then they went out into the galaxy. Then these Goa'uld changed through many different bodies, but they stuck mostly with the Unis until they found a specific planet with a specific species, and that was us, humans, and we became the new host form. Now the Goa'uld took humans off this planet and used them for two purposes. Well, actually three purposes. Number one, hosts for the actual Goa'uld serpent. Number two, slave labor to build their ships and empire. And number three, they grabbed certain humans and transformed them to make them sort of incubators for the next generation. Because the Goa'uld naturally evolved within lakes and then jumped into the body of the Unis, they needed a new replacement for that spawning area, and they created the Jaffa, humans who have X's on their stomach, and within the stomach, within this sort of pouch in the stomach, like a marsupial or some sort of weird thing, inside there is where a new larval Goa'uld will be raised until it becomes mature enough to take over or to find a better host. So yeah, it's really, really interesting. So Stargate has Goa'uld, they're maniacal, individualist, extremely vain, and that's what makes them the best, like, TV villain. So they're like perfect TV villains because they're vain, they're just shallow, they only want power, they'll destroy like half of their army if it means that they look impressive or cool or whatever. But I really liked the Goa'uld from Stargate. So the Goa'uld are great, but they are such individualists. They're so selfish, they're so like self-interested, and they don't care about anyone else as long as the world burns, but they're the leader of the entire world, then they're happy. And yeah, Goa'uld are just vain and awesome, perfect TV villains. I should probably mention that the Goa'uld have a like They have males and females, and the females, generally males and females, are no different from each other because Goa'ulds are rampant, vain individualists. However, there are mothers, and the mother is very much like a queen in a hive. So there are queen Goa'uld, and these queens produce spawnings of massive amounts of new Goa'uld. So instead of having the elder brain that the Illithids have that produces these new worms to put into new Mindflayer hosts, the Goa'uld have queens, and there are a few different queens, some of which produce different lineages. One of them would be Hathor, who produce things for Ra and the other people, and then there's also some of the tok'ra have their own queens. Now, the tok'ra are people that were against the villainy and evil, so there were good Goa'ulds, and some of these good Goa'ulds had their own queen. Now, I quickly need to mention the best thing about Goa'ulds, and that is genetic memory. So when I said there's certain queens for certain lineages, you have to think about the genetic memory. So Ra and Hathor had children, and those children inherited the genetic memory of those Goa'uld, and therefore those children gained traits and personalities like them. And that's why most of the Goa'uld are vain individualists. However, there were some that passed on the genetic memory of more goodness, and those were the tok'ra. But we don't want to talk about the tok'ra on this video. We want to talk about the Goa'uld, the vain, cheesy, maniacal laugh, wahahaha, Jaffa Kree, wahahaha, like all of that stuff. That's what we want to see. So yeah, the Goa'uld are great, vain, perfect, like Saturday cartoon villain people. Like, that's all they are. They're like, haha, I'm vain, I will do this, and I will take you as a host, and then you will be my new host, and we will have grand dominating plans for the galaxy. We will rule this and we will rule that. So the Goa'uld have this aspiring to world domination, to galactic domination, and that's very much what the Mindflayers wish to rebuild for themselves. The Mindflayers, or the Illithids, have a bit less personality, and they go towards the more hive mind, no individualism side of things. So like when you join the Illithid, you lose your personality and you're reborn into this new form with this octopus face, and then you serve the elder brain. Whereas the Goa'uld, if you get a Goa'uld in your head, you are now the host of that Goa'uld. In both cases, you lose your individualism. One of them, you are then created into this new form, the Illithids or the Mindflayers, and the others, you just become someone who lives in your body but doesn't control it, because the Goa'uld controls your own body for you. And there's some great moments in Stargate where some of the Goa'uld who have had their host for thousands and thousands of years, when the Goa'uld leaves it, the host is just, one of the hosts was like, oh, I felt like I was in a dream and I couldn't wake up, and oh, it's kind of heartbreaking to see a host being taken out of time just to like have this immortal kind of Goa'uld that's all selfish and evil and wants to live forever and dominate the galaxy, while even destroying their own kin to do it. Like, a Goa'uld will have no regrets in killing their brother or sister if it means they gain more power. So yeah, it's really great. Like, Apophis will have a few children and they might probably have to fight for power and things like that. It's all power. Power, power, power. So yeah, there's the Goa'uld and the Mindflayers. I just wanted to do a quick rant today because I thought these two were super similar. One's magic based, but it is, again, the Illithids are tyrants, slavers, and planar voyagers. And to me, that is exactly the fantasy version of the Goa'uld. So if you like the idea of Illithids and want to see an entire series, 10 seasons worth of Illithids fighting each other, then I would highly recommend that you watch Stargate SG1. I can't show any clips because MGM just is the worst for copyright. They just refuse to let even a single clip. You can't do music videos. You can't show like funny joke scenes. You can't do anything. There's literally hundreds and hundreds of Stargate episodes, and they won't allow seconds to get on YouTube without them claiming it. And they don't even claim the money, they just delete the whole thing off YouTube. It really sucks. So yeah, Goa'uld are awesome, psychopathic, maniacal, individualists, extremely selfish to the core, and Mindflayers are sort of just a part of the whole that is the elder brain, with the one purpose of galactic domination, or I guess planar domination in this one, because there's planes in D&D and then there's just galaxy and stuff in Stargate. So let me know down below what you think of the Goa'uld / Illithid sort of similarities. Like I said, this is a quick unscripted rant. I just wanted to mention the similarities between these two worm beings that worm their way into your mind and take over your body. And yeah, so if there's any similarities that you noticed down below, then just let me know, or any things that you wanted to be expanded agreed upon, then let me know. I just wanted to do a quick video today. I'm feeling absolutely awful. I need to go lie down now for like the rest of the day, so I just wanted to get this done so you guys had something cool to think about, something to mull over. I just kept watching Ball and watching like clips of Stargate, and he was just so awesome, and like there were this and that, and I was like, oh wait, Goa'uld, they're serpent parasites that burrow into your brain. And then Baldur's Gate came out with the new animation a little while ago, and it clicked, and I was like, oh whoa, what's the difference between a Goa'uld and an Illithid? One of them is individualist and vain, and the other is the part of the colony, part of the elder brain or whatever. Kinda neat. Let me know down below what you think about these, and this is completely just a rant, so yeah, I can talk about this more if you want more details about, I don't know, like the tok'ra queens whose name is Ajiria, or things more like different hosts, or if you want to know more about Ra or the history or things like that, or what was the Unis. The Unis are pretty cool. I probably put an image there, but Unises are pretty awesome. Like there's Chaka and all of these, and I don't know, there's pretty great ones. And if you want to know more about like the Jaffa and all of this, like we could make a video just for Braytak. Braytak deserves a video. So there's a whole bunch of Stargate stuff, or if you want to know more about the Illithid stuff with the Elder Brain, with how do they change, what happens, what is an Illithid mind flare biology or whatever. If you want to know more about that, then just let me know. This was just a rant for the similarities between these two seeking galactic domination races, whose plans are very similar but have slightly different outcomes. So yeah, let me know down below what you thought of this. Leave any questions or suggestions in the comments down below. Like, subscribe, and all that, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great day.